guys, welcome back to RC Everyday. So, I found a new local hobby shop. It's been open for a few months, and it's Shaka Hobbies in White House, Texas. And they do mini Z racing. And I went up there and talked to them and had some stuff and picked up some things. And they have the mini Z racing. They do it every other Saturday. So I've looked at the courses. I spent a week looking at all the mini Z stuff. I'm fully engulfed into it now. So I went back out there this week, picked me up a couple. So I'm going to go out there, I think it's this Saturday, and we're going to race. And I've got some stuff here. We've got our rear-wheel drive ready set. It's got some AMG Mercedes body, I don't know. It looks cool. But it's the MR03 rear engine, rear-wheel drive chassis. That's what most people race, apparently. And I figured I'm not going to be able to race at home. Yeah, I don't have a track, and I don't have a smooth enough driveway. So got hardwood floors, though. I got the all-wheel drive with one of the Charger Hellcat bodies. And it's drift car. Those come with drift tires. The four-wheel drive ones are pretty much just basher drift cars. So, yeah, we're going to open these up. I'm not going to run the rear-wheel drive yet. I've got some mods for these already. I haven't even opened them yet. But I got some of the stuff you need for the racing. And then I've got a gyro for the drift car. Never had a drift car with a gyro. Never actually had a proper drift car of any RC scale. So, yeah, let me show you the little things I got for this. So, obviously, I was drawn to these. I've always kind of been curious about them, but I've never been around people that had them and raced them and stuff, because I think that's where these things are really held on to their popularity, is the groups of people that get together and race. And, you know, it's more fun when you do that. And for me, it's kind of a good compromise. I'm running out of room. I have 70 RC cars in this room. I counted yesterday. 72 now. Maybe a few more hidden in some boxes, but they're small. They're scale. They have realistic hard bodies, so you can get working lights on them. All kinds of cool stuff. But they look like real cars, and that's the huge draw for me. Price is obviously, these are not cheap, but it's kind of reminiscent of the slot car days. I grew up, me and my dad used to go race slot cars, and they always lacked that scale realism. I remember sitting around trying to put stickers on the Lexan slot cars and make them look cool, and then, you know, one wipeout on those and you fly across the room. So these a little more versatile. Like I said, I've been doing research for a week. I've got a pretty good understanding of how they're built, how they work, and some of the mods to make them competitive in racing. And this group down there, they seem like they're real into it. I was getting tips and stuff just upon purchasing one about how to modify the body for aero and things like that. So, like I said, though, we're not going to mess with the rear-wheel drive in this video. We're going to go ahead and open up the Charger. But I did get this set. This is, like, what do they call it, the race pack or something, circuit pack for the MR03, which is the rear-wheel drive. And it has 3 different sets of tires. It has some T-plates and front springs. So the way these chassis work, independent front, kind of, and it has little bitty springs. Different spring rates, obviously, change the performance. The rear has a shock damper on top, and it's kind of hung out the back on a piece of plastic, basically. So your whole rear end and motor and axle are like a go-kart, where your motor and everything's out back on the axle. You got a live axle. So there's different plates, different fiberglass, different widths and tensions to allow different handling characteristics on the track. So I got that little pack. It came with, I can't remember, the 30s and 20s, I think, or something. There's a certain tire setup everybody runs. I've seen it on YouTube videos I've been watching. They told me that at the shop. So we've got that. We'll mess with that once we race. I'm not going to modify it until I actually go race. I want to try it out box stock and just see what it's like and hang out up there and see what other tips and tricks we can pick up off of people. But that was only $25 only. After these are $174 for the rear-wheel drive and $199 for the all-wheel drive. And then the gyro to help keep control during drifting for the all-wheel drive is only $14. So I figured might as well get that, because like I told Josh, his name's Josh too. I told him up at the shop, I was like, I suck at driving. I've never actually competitively raced RC. I've never had that experience. So, and if you've seen me at the buggy races at UST, I'm not a good driver, but I have fun. And that's all that matters. So let's get this thing opened up. Alright, so the contents of the box, obviously the car. I can't get over the detail of this thing. It's even got chrome SRT Hellcat emblems front and rear. Reflective on the mirrors. Everything that comes in the box, you get a radio. This is the Synchro, cheaper of the radio styles, I think. There's I don't know. I've never been into this. Like I said, I've been looking online. There's like radios that are like these, and there's radios that are like $300 or $400. So I'm sure, I mean, this is one vehicle, one radio. I'm guessing you can bind this with some other things. It looked like there were some FlySky radios that were compatible, multi-channel that would work with these things. We've got our nice instruction packet booklet. I've seen some of that online too. It has exploded views of the car and things like that. We've got cute little cones to set up a little drift course with. We've got a bag of gears, it looks like, and a bag of some tools. There's a spacer in there, some kind of cover, heat shield, little bracket. Not sure what all that's for yet, but everything runs on AAA, and of course I didn't pay attention and I bought a bunch of AA batteries, but I've got some that we can test this one out with. I just can't get over the detail of that body. That is really cool looking. I've never had much Kyosho stuff. I've always had Tamiya 10 scale, but I love the old animated instruction manuals. That was always cute with the Tamiya stuff. It's got all these little warnings. Do not run your car in sandy, dusty, wet conditions. Do not use water, alcohol, or thinner to clean your car's body. What else? Got our pairing stick, our wheel wrench, and our cones. That's the tools it comes with. I can't get over how small this is. This is crazy. So the all-wheel drive chassis is a lot different than, I haven't really looked into these. I've only been studying on the rear-wheel drives. We have independent front and rear. We've got a center drive shaft, motors in the middle. All the batteries go on one side. That's why we have one battery hold down that goes on. We've got two auxiliary plugs here on top. I'm assuming one is for the gyro, one is for lights. Looking in the body, there is a little bit of hot glue on all the light sockets. I guess they have dummy things in there so it doesn't look empty. It's a nice touch. It's wild. The bodies just snap on. It reminds me of the slot cars, like I said, but it reminds me also of like the HO scale slot cars, the Tyco stuff. They had their functional chassis, and the bodies just kind of snapped on. They had all kinds of different bodies. I used to love those, but the tracks, I never had a good track. The tracks you buy at Toys R Us back in the day were always kind of crappy. So I never saw anywhere that you actually race those against people. And yeah, this is so much cooler because it's wireless. It doesn't have to be on a table. It doesn't have to be in a track. It can be anywhere. So I'm gonna do some reading here, see how, where, and what to do with this gyro. Get some batteries installed, and we'll turn this thing on. You can see the other side is real quick. All 4 batteries go in there. They're staggered. I've got some of these Duracell, these new something or another's, AAA's power boost. So we'll see how much power is boosted. Alright, so on top of the car there's this little plate with a screw. Looks like we take that off, screw this bad boy on there, plug it into the outside plug from what I can gather. Looks like it fits. Yeah, that one's bigger, so that's for something else. Had to get my cell phone repair kit out. Realize I don't have any good small stuff. I'm just going to leave that on there. It looks identical to the one it came with. And we'll bolt this bad boy on. Oh, now we got magnets working. Got this little repair kit at Home Depot. It was on clearance. Some iFixit brand. But it's got all kinds of good little tips to use for things like cell phones or whatever. Things like mini Z's apparently. Oh man, this is tedious. I can't keep this on the actual tip.
Many unbearable hours later.
Alright, let's see. This goes that way. There we go. I think we're in. Just gonna lay the wire over. I guess didn't really have any instructions about that. It just tells you some precautions. There's a little dial here. You can dial your gyro down and up with this little tool it came with. So I think that's it. Alright, I missed one little step. It's got this extra plastic piece in here that it's used to screw it into the packaging. You have to pry it up here and out there. Now we're cooking. You have to push down or into the body on or chassis on that, and then pull it out. Yeah, that's silly. So batteries go in. It shows you clearly inside which way they go, and which way the front ones go. That way. Alright, now we've got our motor, or battery, I don't even know what I'm saying. Snaps right on, we're good to go. Alright, golden. Ha! Oh Lord. So I don't know enough about the gyro stuff yet. I'm not going to adjust that setting, but you can see it work. Let me give it a slide. It can tell which way the car is sliding, and it changes the wheel direction. Alright, so that is a blast. This thing is pretty cool. I didn't know if you're supposed to leave the batteries in them. Figured not. Most things you don't leave the batteries in. I did take it out of training mode. So when you first open these out of the box, training mode, it blinks when you first turn it on, fast. If you power it on with the throttle pulled, it will go into normal mode and be a lot faster. And in my case, uncontrollable, because I don't know what I'm doing yet. So if you want to put it back in training mode, you do the opposite. You hold that and then power it on in reverse, and it puts it back on training mode, slows it down a little bit so you can get a feel for it, and hopefully not destroy it. So you saw the dog wasn't having that. She doesn't understand the RC stuff. She kept looking at me, looking at my hand on the trigger, whimpering and whining like, how are you doing this wizardry? So anyway, let's go ahead and open up the rear wheel drive. Alright guys, got the rear wheel drive car opened up, and again, I'm just kind of blown away with the detail of this body. This thing has chrome details. It's got the yellow headlights like all the Le Mans style race cars have. It is slick. It feels completely different. This chassis is completely different, basically. But in the package, we got the same thing. We have the same exact remote we looked at earlier, the KTP31P Synchro. We've got our booklet with all our paperwork. Got our little bag with some tools and cones. We do have different tools for the rear-wheel drive than we had for the four-wheel drive. And we've got some spare gears, spacers, a steering link. Basically, this one, I think you can convert it to narrow. At least it has the narrow front setup. It's the wide setup from the factory. So let's take a look at this chassis and see just how different it really is. It is very different. Motor in the back. Now there's two different variations of these rear engine chassis. It's either this way or the other way. The motor hangs off the rear, and that's strictly just to adjust the wheelbase on them. See, we've got a little damper. I don't know if that's actually oil filled or not. So batteries, 2 on each side on this. Good weight distribution. And we have these rubber tires. I thought they were foam for a minute. That is cool. This is very reminiscent of the little mini Tamiya cars that race in the track with the sides on it. Basically, they have the little wheels on the corners. I had some of those when I was little. This was even smaller than that, actually. Those ran on AA's. But really, really cool. We got the same 2 connections up here. not sure what we would plug in on here other than lights maybe. Again, at the bottom, you can see this is the T-plate that I was talking about changing. It goes here and there, and that is basically a tensioner for our side-to-side flex. And those other ones look like they're fiberglass. We have the dual springs up front, inboard. This is cool. Like most of these, the body all snaps in. It starts in the front. You have a little groove in the body. It slides in. They are specific. It does say on there which body it is for, which is very cool. And then it slides in the sides, mainly because the chassis is like this. The rear is independent. Even the four-wheel drive snapped in from the side the same way. And we are good to go. So, I'm going to go racing. We're going to go down to Shaka Hobbies and yeah, let's fast forward time to Saturday night. See how it goes. Alright guys, that was fun. Shout out to Shaka Hobbies. Having events like that. That was nice last night. There wasn't any like serious racing going on. It was just kind of open track. And you had everybody of all ages out there just having a good time. Not a very good driver. But it was still fun to get out and meet some people and yeah, kind of do some racing. And it was neat. There's a little bit of everything. There was a 5-year-old out there setting lap records. And then some of us adults out there just doing good to keep it out of the wall. But did a little tuning and put some different tires on it. Went up to the 3 or 30s on the back, has some tread, and that helped alone a lot. But I see a lot what they were talking about with these bodies. This one in particular with this splitter on the front, it snags on everything, so you stick it in the wall and you've got to pretty aggressively back out of it. But it was a lot of fun. I got a little carrying bag for it. So I'm going to take these out to Kentucky with me, see Jeremy, and I've been drifting the drift car around the house a little bit. Still haven't gotten any better at that either, but it's all in the name of fun. So if you got anything like that around you, local hobby shops that do stuff like that, it's a great place. Just get out and check it out. Get some wheel time on your rig. It's kind of fun to get out and do stuff with other people. You know, I sit at home so much and build all these things and never actually get to go out except for the major events that I go to. So having something local where I can get together with people and just socialize with the RC hobby. So yeah, minis, these are pretty cool. I'm going to go back in a few weeks and check out their oval track night. I think those sprint cars and stuff are going to be pretty cool too. So we'll see. But until next time guys, keep it scale and yeah, get out and do something with the hobby. See you all in the next video.